What's up, peeps? This is Todd, and welcome back to my show. As most of you guys know, I was recently on the BiggerPockets podcast, and I've got a lot of great feedback about that. So thank you to everyone who listened. If you haven't subscribed to BiggerPockets yet, make sure to go over to their channel. They're on YouTube. You can subscribe there, and they also have a podcast. Just check out the BiggerPockets website, and you can find everything you need. I wanted to make this quick video answering many of the questions that I received over LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and through my YouTube, just based on all of the stuff that I went over on that BiggerPockets episode. If that sounds good, let's hop into the video. So let me first apologize to anyone who has sent me a DM who I haven't gotten back to yet. I literally, after the BiggerPockets episode, I had like 300 Instagram followers, and literally overnight I got 1,000 more followers right after that BiggerPockets episode came out, and I'm still getting more every hour. So needless to say, I have had 1,000 messages on Instagram and another probably 500 or so on LinkedIn, and I've had way more than that just directly through YouTube. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring you. I haven't forgotten about you. It's just taking me a very long time to get through everything because I literally have thousands and thousands of messages in my inbox right now, which is great. I appreciate the activity and the engagement. I'm just trying to find an effective way to answer all these questions. Now, luckily, many of you guys had the same questions. So I think like 50 of you had the exact same question. So if I just answer it here on YouTube, then you'll all see it. So the first question that I got after the BiggerPockets podcast is how I saved up for my down payment. Now, it wouldn't be fair to you guys watching if I didn't admit that I was very fortunate in my early 20s where I had a very high paying job. By the time I was 22, I was already making well over $100,000 per year, and my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, she had a pretty good salary as well. So for that first house, we only had to come up with $19,000 down, and because I was already making six figures, that was very easy for me to come up with that amount. Now, if you are not in the same situation, maybe you aren't earning six figures yet, there are first-time homebuyer programs where you can put down 5%, 3.5%, and sometimes even 0% down. The next question was specifically what types of areas do I invest in? Personally, I love undervalued areas that are going through a transition. These areas are the best for appreciation, but you also want to make sure that they're right on a bus line. If you're close to a city, that's even better. I also make sure that if I'm going to be renting out the house by the bedroom, I have enough parking spots for every single room. So if there's 6 bedrooms in the house, I need to have 6 parking spots. Now, I also stay away from HOAs because many HOAs don't even allow that type of rental. And you always want to check with the city to make sure that you can indeed rent it out by the room. Now, one of the most common questions I got were people just messaging me saying, hey, I live in Massachusetts. Should I buy a house? Or, hey Todd, thanks for the episode. I'm here in Indianapolis. Should I go ahead and house hack? Now, this is a really tough question to answer because if you're just messaging me and we've never spoken before, I don't know your situation. I don't know if you have a mountain of student loan debt or if you're paying 30% interest on credit card debt. I don't know what type of job you have. I don't know what your debt to income ratio is. And I might not even know what your market is as far as the real estate in your area. I might not be educated on houses that are in your town or city. So those questions are really difficult to answer without having more information about your specific scenario. But here is what I'll say. If you have a mountain of credit card debt that you're paying high interest on, get rid of that first. Like, just get rid of it. Your life will be so much better if you don't have that credit card debt. Now, if you have car payments or student loans, depending on what the interest rate is, my advice could be to pay that off, or it could be to invest in real estate. It really depends on what the interest that you're going to be paying on your home versus the interest you're paying on your car or your student loans. Another thing to factor is what you'd be spending in rent if you didn't otherwise own a home. So if you live in a cheaper area where you can go rent a place for $400 per month, maybe that would be a good idea for you while you're paying off debt or while you're building up reserves or a nest egg. However, if you live in an area like Seattle, like I do, where rent is through the roof, it actually might be in your best interest to go ahead and buy a house for you to live in and then rent out the bedrooms to offset that mortgage. You actually might be saving money every month if you aren't renting an apartment. It completely depends on your situation, your market, your area, your risk tolerance, your debt to income ratio, and also the demographics of your area. Now, something that I would never do and never encourage anyone to do is discriminate by age. Not only is it morally wrong and unethical, it's actually illegal to do. At the same time, I also know that most of my tenants will be young people because young people are the ones willing to put up with roommates. In my experience, I haven't seen many 50 or 60-year-olds looking for bedrooms to rent. Those folks either own a home of their own, or if they don't own a home, maybe they're renting an apartment, but they have no desire to live with 5 other people. So one other thing you want to consider is, does your town or city have a high population of young people? That's going to be crucial if your plan is to rent it out by the bedroom, because again, young people are the only ones that are down to live in a house with of 5 or 6 roommates. Now, I also had some questions about technical terms like what is a down payment, what are tax write-offs, what is depreciation, and I think I'm going to make a video specifically talking about those things, but basically, just real quick here, a down payment is the amount of money you have to put down with the mortgage company. So let's say you're going to go buy a $200,000 house, and your banker is telling you that you have to put 10% down. That means that you have to have $20,000 to put down on that house. Now, you also want to factor closing costs and any fees associated with that. So all in, your cash to close might be closer to $25,000 or $28,000. Now, depreciation is basically a way to, on paper, talk about the asset going down in value. This is why I love real estate, because it's the only thing in the world that I know of that can actually go up in value, and legally you're allowed to say it's going down in value so you pay less taxes. Depreciation is a phenomenal phantom expense because it's not really a true expense. You're not really losing any money as the house ages. In fact, it's going up in value, and you're getting equity over time. And if you want to learn more about depreciation and how to basically pay zero taxes legally, I highly recommend checking out Robert Kiyosaki's books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, as well as Cash Flow Quadrant. Now, I have had a lot of people on Instagram want to do phone calls or meet for coffee or go out to lunch, and I will say, it'll be hard for me to do that with everyone. As you guys watching know, I own a real estate company that takes up a good amount of time, and I'm making YouTube videos, and so to meet with 500 or 1,000 people, it'd be really near impossible to go do that. But I definitely don't want to be that guy on Instagram or YouTube who never engages with his audience and never answers any questions. So what I'm going to be doing is posting content to my Instagram specifically about real estate, stock investing, secret shopping, and credit card trading, basically all the stuff that I do to become financially successful. I'm going to be posting content about all of that. And then I encourage anyone to ask questions right there, which I will in turn answer on YouTube the week after. Well, I hope this video was helpful to you. Again, make sure if you haven't already to go over to BiggerPockets and subscribe, and I will see you guys at the next video. Peace.